Good afternoon, good morning, or good evening, whenever you are listening to this show. My name is Christopher J. Wirth. I am the founder of both No Quit Living and the Positivity Tribe, as well as the host of the No Quit Living podcast. And the number one objective we have each and every single day is to motivate or inspire at least one person. And you can catch me on this week's episode of the Jesse T Show. I truly believed in the concept and the idea of karma, and the sense of when like-minded people are out there, they connect, and when like-minded people make those quality introductions, which is how you and I connected. I think it's really cool in many different directions. So very simple. I am a former athlete and coach, and former, I mean, I don't play or coach at the level that I used to, but I think once you're a player or coach, you're always a player and a coach. I also have a financial business, and I'm an author, speaker, coach, as well as a podcast host. And I think the thing for me, similar to you, is when you're busy doing a lot of things that you're passionate about, I don't think it's that quote unquote work where you get up every day and say, okay, I got to put my boots on, or I got to put my uniform on and get after it. It's more along the lines of really enjoying what you do. And more importantly for me is the people I get to connect with. And I can honestly say, just from the podcast alone, I've met some unbelievable people. And that's actually how you and I connected, by a friend that we have in common that I actually connected with via my podcast, and just some really cool things happen. So again, I appreciate the opportunity to be here.
Unbelievable to have you, brother, and what you're doing in the world and all the things that you just mentioned, we're going to touch on, because I think it's important for people to understand the journey. And, for people that are listening, they want to level up in life, relationships, health and wellness. They may be starting podcasts, they may be writing books, they may be starting businesses, and you've done all those things and you've done them at a great level. But here's the thing, you're a great human being, which is the secret sauce to all that. You could go out and make a ton of money, but if you're not a good human being, or if you're not happy, life's going to suck. And it seems like you've been able to put all that together, taking it way back before all these things have come to fruition. Were you always an entrepreneur? Where did that hustle come from?
Yeah, I think for me, I was always interested in different things. And I think my parents did a fantastic job growing up, introducing me to different things. There was no pressure of you have to do this or you have to do that. But to their credit, they introduced me to a lot of different things, whether it's sports, arts, music, theater. But the one thing that I can say that I'm trying to emulate with my kids now, and you always try to, I think, be the best version of yourselves, but they always inspired me to try different things, and they did not lead me to one specific thing. Obviously, there were certain things that they were interested, so obviously you touch upon those because that's what you know, but they always supported me. And I think I was always interested in different things. And when I was in 9th and 10th grade, my best friend and I ran basketball camps for probably 11, 12 summers in a row. He was a former NBA player, so it was his name that was the name on the company, but it was something that I enjoyed doing. And he gave me a lot of ownership into growing and building it and trying different things. So I think for me, the creative perspective of running your own business is something that I really enjoyed.
You did it through something that you love too, which was basketball. So what was your position growing up through those high school years?
Yeah, so it's interesting. When I was prior to high school and I was in 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th grade, I was always the biggest, tallest kid in the team. So it was funny. I always won the big man awards, but then I stopped growing and I turned into a point guard. So I think the way I describe it is inside I'm a center or a strong power forward, but I'm in a point guard's body.
You're a big man at heart. You're Giannis. You're big, but you can handle the rock.
I love to shoot it. So I think that's it goes kind of both ways.
How tall are you now?
5'11".
Ah, okay. So that's definitely point guard height, especially in the pros. It's like you got to be like a little bit over 6 feet, but it doesn't matter, man, as long as you got some skills. So everybody's probably going to want to know, that's a basketball fan, favorite, greatest basketball player of all time in your mind.
I love this question, and there is only one. And I've argued / debated this when I was a high school varsity basketball coach up through a college coach. We've had some very intense, I want to say, discussions, aka arguments, and the GOAT is definitely Michael Jordan. And
without a question, no question. I was growing up the biggest Michael Jordan fan in my mind. And, I would play in Boston in the snow in the driveway. Like there was nothing stopped me down. Even though I was in Boston with the Celtics and loved the Celtics, I was the biggest Jordan fan. And it was funny because I met him years later, or I had the chance to meet him, and I had grown out of my fanness, even though I love him and I think he's a great, honestly, I really like the way he's done business through the years. Like I like what he's been able to create. He's one of the pioneers, if you will, of how the guys in the NBA do what they do today with deals and sponsorships and all these things and collaborations. He was the godfather really of all that, with sneaker deals and underwear and hot dogs and cologne and movies and everything he was doing. He became the first big brand, I think, in basketball, at least the most successful. Even to this day, he's pretty much the most successful brand outside of, some of the other greats. But I say all that to say that I had a chance to meet him, and I was in Charlotte, North Carolina. I was running a business years ago. And, I'm in my mid to late 20s, and I'm over at this place. I'm not familiar. I don't know if you're familiar with Charlotte, but there's this place called South Park, and it's kind of like, it's some nice shops and restaurants. And I took a couple of my guys out. I was in a sales organization, and I wanted to treat them to dinner. And I'm walking into this restaurant, Del Frisco's, which has this amazing steak. And they're known for like this beautiful staircase that they have when you go in the Charlotte location. And I look as we're walking in, and we see Ric Flair. Ric Flair is right to the side. He's just getting out of a car. And we all instantaneously, without talking to each other, said, "Woo!" Like did the Ric Flair noise that everyone knows. And he immediately, like, he had something in his hand. He like toasted back to us, and he was like, "Woo!" Like, so he just does it. And then off to the right in the corner was a like group of like 20 people that were surrounding this dude. And I looked over, and it was Michael Jordan sitting down on the wall. Had I been anywhere from like 5 to 15 years old, I would have ran over to him and like smothered him with like, "Oh my God, it's Michael Jordan." I saw him. I was like, "Oh, cool, Michael Jordan." And I walked away. So that's when I knew something changed, that like I wasn't as huge of a fan. But were you a big fan of Jordan growing up too? Did you have the sneakers? Did you have the jerseys? All that stuff?
I was a huge fan. My dad was a sports agent for a very short period of time, and he had New Jersey Nets front row seats. We had 4 tickets for, I believe, 16 years. So not only was I a huge Jordan fan, but I got to see him play live at the Meadowlands probably 30 times, literally from a foot away. And I think anybody that knows me knows that I was just a huge fan. And back to your point, not only was he the biggest in the sense of brand for basketball, he's by far, in my opinion, as well as opinion of others, the biggest brand in all of sports. And the reason I say that is nothing against Tiger Woods or anybody else, but when you say the word Jordan, you can literally say it in Italy, in China, in Spain, and the United States, and it's a brand, it's a sneaker, it's a logo, and it's just something that he created. Obviously, Nike and Phil Knight, nobody had any idea the level that he was going to be. But the crazy thing is, he actually didn't like Nike and wanted to be an Adidas guy, and his mom actually made him sit down and have an interview with Nike, and he only did it because his mom asked him to.